Hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm the lead pastor here at Sunnyside Seventh-day Adventist Church in Portland, Oregon. As many of you know, we have been spending the last number of months seeking God's plan for how to complete the staff, the pastoral staff here at Sunnyside Church. Just recently, we believe that God has led clearly in inviting Pastor Cara Dale to join our staff. She's in process of getting situated and getting moved here to Portland, but in the meantime, I thought you might enjoy getting to know her just a little bit more. We sat down together over Google Hangouts just this week, and she was able to answer a few questions and just share a little bit more about herself. I hope that you enjoy the result. Now, at the beginning of the video, it turns out that the audio was just a little bit garbled, but if you hang in there for about 30 seconds, it gets much better very quickly. So, with that, enjoy the interview.
I'm a pastor in my mid-30s. I've been living here in for the last 4 years. It's been my first appointment as a pastor. And here I've pastored a couple of churches, one quite large one and a smaller one. And also I've done some chaplaincy in an aged care home. Prior to that, I was a high school teacher. So it was a bit of a switch, moving out of teaching into pastoring, but I have absolutely loved it.
Tell us a little bit about your family and maybe a little bit about your growing up. What makes you you?
I come from a family of, there's 4 of us. I have one younger sister. She's a nurse and she lives down in Melbourne with my mum. And my father's also down south in Australia. We were a missionary family living in Papua New Guinea. I spent a good portion of my childhood there before coming back to Australia to boarding school for my high school years. And so I guess you could say we moved a fair bit. I got used to exploring new places and meeting new people. And though it was challenging at times, quite challenging at times, it also gave me a real sense of adventure. And I now actually really enjoy that aspect of life. So yeah, all over the place would be home for me. I don't actually have one specific city or even country that I would call home. It's just wherever I am and the people that I love.
I love that. So you and I have been talking about the opportunity here at Sunnyside for a little bit, for I guess a few weeks or maybe a couple months. I can't remember for sure. But I'm curious, from your side of things, how did all of this come together? What made Sunnyside appealing to you?
Well, to be honest, it was really out of the blue. My boyfriend, Terry, had called me late last year. I was in the middle of running, helping to run our big camp. I was flat out and he said, look, there's a church that I really think you'd enjoy and would suit. You probably wouldn't get the job, but if you sent in your resume, you'd be in the mix for later down the track. And so I said, okay, no worries, I'll quickly send it in. And that essentially was all that it was. I didn't really know Sunnyside Church. I just took it on faith, and really it was kind of a miracle if I got the job, and I was happy doing what I was doing here in Brisbane, and figured the Lord would open the doors whenever he needed to down the track, whether it was Sunnyside or somewhere else. Was completely in his hands, and I quite forgot about even sending the resume in after a month or so. And so when I received the email from Sunnyside, I was in a bit of shock, but I said, well, Lord, okay, we'll go through the interview process. I probably still didn't think I would actually get it. Being on the other side of the world, I just figured I was a lot harder to move over, and why me kind of thing. But again, it was in the Lord's hands. So the whole way was God opening up the doors, and I was amazed at the process. He's just opened the doors, and I'm excited to come. The more I've learned about Sunnyside, the more I am excited to join the team and really, yeah, who knows what's ahead. But the part that I love the most is that it really has been the Lord, nothing else. So it gives me a confidence knowing that he's got this, he's got plans for us, and his will is going to be done, and I'm excited about that.
I love to hear the story from your side. That's really good. Now you said something that people are going to be curious about. You said your boyfriend Terry. So who are we talking about here? Tell us a little bit about that if you're willing.
For sure. Terry Johnson is my boyfriend. We have known each other for quite a long time now, but long distance can be challenging, and we both are very much committed to the Lord's timing and leading in both our lives, not only professionally, but also personally. So it's been something that has been in his hands for quite a few years now, but always have had a very strong connection. Yeah, soulmate kind of thing. And so the way God's led, he's just opened up doors over the years and brought us to a place where, yeah, well, I really am excited with what the future holds for us.
Well, that is great to hear. So, coming from Australia, what kind of experience do you have with the United States?
I visited a few times, mainly Terry. There's probably four, maybe five. Have travelled a little bit all over the country. I've been over to DC quite a few times, and down to New Orleans, which was an experience that was fascinating, and also over to Portland a fair bit too. And interestingly enough, even though I spent the majority of my time in DC visiting Terry there when he was living there, Portland was always my favourite. It reminds me a great deal of Melbourne, which is where I've spent a lot of time growing up, and I love the arty food, food, art, gallery kind of culture that Portland has. It has always appealed to me. So I'm so excited to be moving there very soon.
So I'm interested about just your spiritual journey, about your perspective on faith and on church. What is it about your that you appreciate about your walk with God, about your spiritual life? What does that look like for you?
It has been a growing journey. I've never been through the experience of going away and coming back, so to speak. I grew up knowing the Lord, and it has, and we've had struggles, but it's been one that has been forged through hard times. Growing up in PNG was really difficult as a child, and the moving countries and different cultures was challenging. God was very much my rock during that time, and I learnt to rely on him and listen to his voice. As I grew, my understanding of him broadened. What I love the most is studying his character and how everything links back to his character of love and the freedom that he wants for us in that. I could study that forever and never get bored. And I love the way that impacts our lives individually. And for me, it's a growing understanding all the time. And that in turn impacts my walk with him and it brings more and more freedom. The more I know him, the more relaxed I can be with him. And I really enjoy being able to share that with others, because it's an amazing life. The more we know that together, the more we can love each other well.
Thank you for sharing. I love your answer. I look forward to pursuing those things more so as we serve together on the staff here at Sunnyside. So changing gears just a little bit, when you're not on the clock, as it were, as a pastor, what do you enjoy doing? Do you have any hobbies or things that you that bring you joy?
Yes, on the clock. It's very rare that we're not on the clock, but even when we're on the clock, I love bringing in the fun things of life into ministry. I really enjoy exploring new places, adventures, and just wandering streets and checking out different interesting shops and museums and parks and galleries. Just being with people and meeting people on the street. I find that really fun, especially in a new place. I love food. So restaurants and cafes and cooking at home and hosting people. I love opening my home and having people over and just enjoying food together. To me, that's probably one of the most enjoyable things of life. I have a real also passion for good strategy board games, which is probably a little bit more unusual. So if anyone's out there and enjoys strategy games, I'll be looking for some players down the track. What else? Reading. I love reading. Enjoy that a great deal. That would be probably my favourite hobbies. And just being outside, gardening, the outdoors, that kind of thing.
Wonderful. So strategy board games, what are the ones you enjoy the most?
Okay, so Settlers of Catan is up there. Risk would be another one, although you need a great deal of time and that can get a little intense. But as we progress in friendship, that we could definitely introduce that, I think. They would be my two favourites. The rest kind of just settle in underneath that. But Settlers of Catan at the moment is definitely my favourite.
Very good. That's a game that I haven't gotten into yet. Maybe we'll have to try that out.
I think so. We'll see what you think.
So one of the most important questions for people moving to Portland, how do you feel about rain?
As long as I can exercise, I love it. To me, it gives a good chance of being inside with people and friends and food and fires and all things cozy. I enjoy walking in it, but I'm thinking that that could be a little bit cold in Portland. Over here, when it rains, it's quite warm still. So there's something beautiful of being out in it, but that may be a new experience for me in Portland. But water means the gardens are always growing beautifully, and that's a big tick for me. I've lived in areas of drought before, so rain is a luxury.
So before we go, tell me one story that's memorable in your life, or something that would be unique or interesting that we would enjoy knowing about you. Tell me a story.
Okay. Well, when I was just finishing high school, I felt very convicted that God wanted me to do something other than going straight to university, which university appealed to me. I was academic. I love study. But I just felt on my heart that that's not what he had for me. So I'd prayed about it. And to cut a long story short, an opportunity opened up to volunteer in Bangkok as an assistant teacher. I was 17 at the time, felt quite grown up myself, but looking back was quite young. But off I went. The Lord opened up all the doors, as he always does with the moves. It's amazing the way he does that. He opened up the doors. I arrived in Bangkok ready to be an assistant teacher to a class of third graders. And so in my mind, I'm like, this is easy. I'll help them cut out and read and stuff like that. That won't be too hard. 2 weeks into arriving, they had to fire the current grade 6 teacher and they asked me to take over. And I had no clue what to do. I was young, inexperienced, and in a completely new country. But I prayed about it and I said, well, Lord, if you've led me here and if you want me to do this, you'll just have to give me what it takes. And so we walked, and you know what? He was amazing. He just provided the skill every day. I didn't really have anything more than a day in advance of what I was doing. And there were many tears at night with the intensity and the stress at times. But overall, it really taught me that he provides what is needed as long as we're willing to work and to step out in faith and not let fear bind us. He will lead us down amazing roads. A small, I guess, picture of that in that whole process was my first day getting to school. I lived in an apartment in suburbia there in Bangkok, and there they have massive roads with, it appears from my Western eyes, no real order to how they work. And I had to cross this 6-lane highway on foot in order to get to work. And there was no pedestrian crossings and no lights or anything. And I'm standing there just going, I think I'm going to miss my first day. I can't get across. The cars just kept going like that. And so I'm praying, I'm saying, Lord, well, I got nothing. I can't get across. And then suddenly this old man appeared at my side didn't really see where he came from. Just a really old man. And he just motioned to me to follow him. And so I was like, well, I've got nothing to lose. Can't stand here all day. So I followed him, and he taught me how to cross a road in Bangkok, which is one lane at a time, waiting for the cars to just clear and then moving forward. And he took me, all 6 lanes across. And when I turned to thank him, he was gone. And just the way God takes care of even those small little needs is indicative of how he takes care of the bigger things in life too. Still sometimes scary, but amazing. So that was an amazing year for me. As a young girl, it taught me that life with God is not easy, but it's also incredibly rewarding and exciting. And that wherever he leads, he will provide. And it's worth the I guess, leap of faith that it often takes. So for me, coming to Sunnyside is a huge leap of faith. But I'm excited about the road ahead, and I can see his hand already in the way he's opened up so many doors.
What a fantastic story. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Before I let you go, one more question. Any idea when you're going to be able to get here? How is the transition process going?
Well, we're tracking well, I believe. I have packed up my house. Everything's gone now. I'm on my way. I've got one more church to say goodbye to here in Brisbane, and then I'll be heading down to Melbourne just for a couple of weeks with my mum. The visa is processing. I'm told that it takes about a month. So I'm hoping to be over in Portland by mid-February-ish, give or take a little bit, and hopefully starting at Sunnyside by the end of February. So I'm very excited about that. And so far, he's provided every step of the way. So I'm not foreseeing any challenges with the visa. I think it's going to come through fine, and I'll be there end of February.
That sounds great. Thanks for taking some time with us this afternoon. I don't even know what time it is there, but I really appreciate that you were willing to sit down and talk. I'm sure that people are going to enjoy hearing a little bit about your life, your story, and we will for sure look forward to meeting you in person in not that long.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. A pleasure my end, and I really am looking forward to getting to know everyone too. Can't wait to meet you all in person.
So, all right, Cara, God bless you. Travel safely, and we will look forward to that first time that you land here in Portland. So, God bless, and take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.